Good evening, Trump family. Welcome to Open Source News. Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Let's get into the news. And since we are in full midterm swing season right now, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is being forced to go out there and defend her terrible policy decisions that she has made on behalf of her district in New York City. Well, apparently, many voters. Let's back up just for a second. The amount of influence that AOC has, it's AstroTurf. It's absolutely filled with bots and stuff like that. So she had millions and millions of these people who supposedly support her, but when you actually look at the town halls, much like Biden, she has, like 30 people show up. And that's how many people showed up for this thing. And while she was there, of the 30 people that were there, 2 or 3 of the voters absolutely lashed out against her for her betraying her base, for being a war hawk, for somebody who wants to push us closer to the nuclear war. She was mocked. It was a long time coming, absolutely brilliant, and all of that, her just getting lambasted by everybody. I'm surprised she didn't ask why they tried to date her. She tells him that they were rude because they were concerned about World War III, concerned with nuclear war, concerned with her continuing to funding Ukraine and this conflict over there in Europe, instead of focusing things around the country. And these people are New Yorkers who are in her district, who live there, who share probably a lot of values she ran on. However, she quickly realized it was a lot easier to make a lot more money just parroting that, and then living her lavish lifestyle like many good communist Marxists do. So let's go and take a look at this. Over here. Let's take a listen to AOC absolutely get mocked and humiliated. Amazing. Everyone listen to this, voters said. None of this matters unless there's a nuclear war with you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. She's left the Democratic Party. Okay, you originally voted. You ran as an outsider, you've been voting to start this war, and there will be no neighbors. If there's a nuclear bomb, you voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a tower. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right true. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you shown cowardice. I believe in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war. Unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters. If none of it, that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We can be in a nuclear war at any minute and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on. Why not right now? You're the liar here. Nobody has hold you accountable. That's what's happening. And it is time for you to stand up and realize that what you've been saying has been lies. Let your conscience come through for once. They're right, so those voters are right. She continues to grift, she continues to say she is this. What would we call it? A calming limousine communist, loves the attention, loves to living a lavish lifestyle, loves being adored by everybody in the media. But when it comes to actually having to interact with her constituents, how now she doesn't have time for that. They're rude. They were actually doing what they should have done, holding her accountable. Hopefully they will hold her accountable at the ballot box. Hopefully maybe this will inspire them to vote for the Republican. I don't know. I don't know if they're willing to go that far to vote for somebody with an AR next to your name, but it is definitely something to continue to watch to see whether or not AOC will even decide to go out and continue to do more of these town halls, especially if that is the sentiment within her district. She might be in for a rude awakening that said he is going to lose. However, you never know. Seeing crazier things happen, right? And everyone listen to this. Why are illegal immigrants more important than Americans? I'd like to hear an answer. Why are illegal immigrants more important than homeless people sleeping on the streets? Why do we in the gray, one of the biggest economies here in California, take care of illegal immigrants, but our people are sleeping on the streets? I'd like to hear an answer to that. Why? Nobody can ever answer the question. Why don't people put American citizens first but illegal immigrants get everything? And I hope you post this. I want this to go viral because I give a damn and I care about my community. My dad is a retired Navy captain. He served our country honorably. My grandfather's retired Navy captain, and I'm doing my part to help our country because I give a damn and I'm gonna fight for it. And I am 100% voting for Donald Trump on Tuesday, November 3, 2020. The Democrat Party does not put our people first, they put sanctuary cities first, they put illegal aliens first, they tax us, they tax our water. You can even do laundry and shower on the same day. While Nancy Pelosi is getting hundreds of thousands of dollars robbing our pockets, not doing anything for our people, not passing legislation, passing out pens like they're candy. Meanwhile, President Trump is signing United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, and he's signing trade deals, and he's cutting our taxes and securing the border, and he's putting our veterans first. I am proud of President Trump, and I have voting for him because he's putting the American people first, period. Okay. Now if you don't know, that was the conservative activist Scott Presler. He first became known for organizing volunteer trash cleanups in Baltimore, Los Angeles, and a number of other cities. As I understand, that's what he was doing there. In that video, as he mentioned, he would be voting for Trump. This video is obviously a couple of years old, but its truth bombs are timeless. Apparently, it was instigated by some woke leftists who were taunting him, as he was actually cleaning their city. And he decided to engage them in the debate. And as you could see, it was pretty one-sided. And he entered into that debate in a very fascinating way. He asked a poignant question: why are illegal immigrants more important than Americans? It's a brilliant question because it brings to the fore the central concern for so many people, not just in America, but in the whole of the West. Why are our political leaders demonstrably more concerned about illegal immigrants than they are about their own American citizens? We did a video some months back during the lockdowns. You may remember this Fox News report on teachers for the San Diego Unified School District volunteering to teach illegal immigrant children that are being housed at the Sandia New San Diego Convention Center. But at the same time, they refuse to go back to on-site teaching in their own school buildings for their own students. That's why they had the free time to volunteer. It's because they refuse to go back into the classroom and teach the very students whose families were paying their salaries during the lockdown. And so this is what Scott is asking: why are illegal immigrants more important than Americans, especially as the site he cites when it comes to the homeless? Why are we bending over backwards to accommodate people who aren't even supposed to legally be here in the first place, while ignoring the problems and struggles of our own citizens? And that sense of preferential treatment is not just here. In the United States, for example, the government of France between the years 2004 and 2013 spent nearly €40 billion to refurbish and rebuild mainly ethnic minority housing centers throughout their cities. But the government didn't spend anything even remotely like that on similarly depressed areas that were inhabited by native French citizens. And so this disparity between the way the French government treated immigrants, legal or illegal, and the way it treats its own citizens, it's created what one scholar calls the rise of peripheral France, where more and more citizens feel like they just completely been shut out from the national conversation in decision-making. And what Scott did there in this videos, he went straight for the jugular, as it were. Why is this? How on earth can a government that was set up for the benefit of the people who support that government through their tax dollars, how can that government treat people who've made not a shred of such a contribution and who trample on the very laws established for the protection of its citizens? How can that government treat those people with more attention and concern than they do their own citizens? And of course, the answer is because they're globalists, and globalists, by definition, have no loyalty to any citizenry or to any nation. Their loyalty is to a system that transcends national specificity. It transcends particular populations. And so illegal immigrants are treated with more value in worth, precisely because they turn out to be more valuable and worthy for globalist elites. And that's because illegal immigrants help to keep them in power, both in the form of cheap labor that maximizes the profit margins for the corporate capitalist boardrooms, who are the chief donors to the globalist political class. And of course, by means of cheap votes, illegal immigrants, once granted amnesty, disproportionately vote for the globalist left. But the wonderful news in all this, as you saw with Scott, is that as it turns out, more and more citizens are realizing that they love their nation, that they're eternally grateful for the blessings bestowed upon them by their countries. And they're radically grateful for it. And what we're grateful for, we protect. That's what we see with Scott, with President Trump, with the rising patriot movement all over the world, that rising up to take back their nation's globalist will lose as long as we have people like Scott. Thanks for being here, folks. Big hug. Ciao. Goodbye. God bless.